day.
Rivers crisis, 2 commissioners quit Fubara's cabinet, coming from the Nation newspaper.
FRSC boss proposes jail terms for reckless drivers.
Federal government addressing outstanding university workers' demands, says minister.
Sirika spent second night in EFCC custody over 8 billion naira probe.
Tinubu renews commitment to empowering girls, women and youths.
And still from Punch, APC, PDP internal crisis worse than LPs. That's coming from Obi this morning.
Still with the Nation, Dangote gives rise to Muslims in Ondo State.
All right, the next headline from the Nigerian Tribune, 18 years tertiary education admission age limit. WAEC, JAMB, NECO shouldn't register underage again for exams, parents' body.
From the Vanguard, Akintoye to Afenifere, Yoruba Nation wants self-determination, not restructuring.
All right, from this day newspaper, EFCC hands over 14 forfeited properties to Enugu government.
Okuma, over 12 residents trapped in forests die of hunger and sickness.
Nigeria's brand now sellable to global community, says Abiodun.
German police arrest 11 Nigerians over dating scam.
All right, delayed justice. Tinubu National Assembly demands judicial reforms.
Delta Police boss car snatching syndicate recover 12 cars, arrest 3.
From the Nation newspaper, Julius Berger gets federal government marching order on Bodomboni Road.
Still with the Vanguard newspaper, APC is the answer to Nigeria's problem, says Ganduje.
Nigerian Tribune, EFCC withdraws appeal against order stopping Yaya Bello's arrests.
Peace out of reach. 4 commissioners resign from Fubara's cabinet, coming from the Vanguard.
All right, we'll take a break. When we are back, we'll serve the details of those headlines. Please stay with us. You're welcome back. In case you're just joining us, 99.1 is the dial and the station is Glow FM. We're transmitting from Efwalayi Street, Ijapo Estate, Akure, the Sunshine State capital, and its issues in the dailies. We begin from Punch newspaper. Delayed justice. Tinubu National Assembly demands judicial reforms. President Bola Tinubu and Senate President Godswill Akpabio on Wednesday asked the judiciary to commence a reform of the justice sector. Tinubu said the judiciary needed critical reforms to address systemic challenges and serve justice to Nigerians. Speaking at the National Summit on Justice 2024 held at the National Judicial Institute, Abuja, the president also demanded accountability from the judiciary. In recent times, the judiciary has come under censure over the reported misconduct by some judicial officers, lawyers and litigants, which has given rise to the clamor to reforms in the justice sector. Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima at the summit, emphasized the urgency for policy innovation and legislative action to create a justice system that serves both current citizens and future generations. The president said much could be achieved when institutions of the executive, legislature and judiciary unite to acknowledge their challenges and brainstorm to preferring solutions to the problems bedeviling Nigeria. Punch newspaper has the story this morning.
From the Nation newspaper, federal government addressing outstanding university workers' demands. That's coming from the Minister for Education. The federal government is working hard to address the outstanding demands of university-based unions. The Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman, said yesterday. He urged unions to embrace negotiations instead of confrontation. The minister said negotiations are more effective than shutting the institutions. Mamman spoke at the 5th Delegate Conference of the National Association of Academic Technologists with the theme Technology, a Recipe for National Development and Socio-Economic Growth in the 21st Century. He said some of the demands of the unions are the need for the government to pay their withheld salaries during the last strike, non-implementation of the increase in salaries of teaching and non-teaching staff, lack of progress in the renegotiation of 2009 agreement with the unions, among others. Maman said, according to him, our part as government in the area of supporting growth and development and welfare, this government is determined to ensure that you are properly supported in all aspects. For details, check The Nation newspaper. Federal government addressing outstanding university workers demands, says Minister.
All right, staying with education stories, this time from Nigerian Tribune. 18 years tertiary education admission age limit. WAEC, JAMB, NECO shouldn't register underage again for exams. Parent body. The National Parent Teacher Association of Nigeria has expressed support for the Minister of Education, Professor Tahar Mamman's recent pronouncement to peg the tertiary education admission age limit in Nigeria to 18 years instead of the current 16 years. The national president of the union, Alhaji Haruna Danjuma, expressed his backing on this on Wednesday during an exclusive interview with newsmen. He, however, urged the federal government to co-opt the three major examination bodies in the country: the West African Examinations Council, WAEC, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, and the National Examination Council, NECO, to make the proposal a policy that would work effectively. He said the three examination bodies have significant roles to play on the matter. He said parents who rush their children's education are mostly the rich and the educated ones who can afford to send their children to private schools, which usually admit underage children without considering their emotional maturity. Danjuma explained that for the Minister of Education to have aired his view again about the 18-year age limit for tertiary education admission is a way of reminding parents of the risk to rushing their children's education. We have a long way there. That's from the Nigerian Tribune newspaper this morning.
From The Nation, Tinubu renews commitment to empowering girls, women and youth. President Bola Tinubu has reaffirmed his administration's commitment to the welfare and empowerment of girls, women and youth. Speaking at the unveiling of the United Nations Fund for Population Activities, a State of the World Population 2004 report, President Tinubu emphasized the need to address the challenges facing this vulnerable demographic. The UNFPA flagship State of the World Population Report with the theme Interwoven Lives, Threads of Hope, Ending Inequalities in Sexual and Reproductive Health and Rights followed the global launch of Geneva on April 17. Represented by the Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Ali Pate, the President highlighted the importance of ensuring that girls stay in school and avoid early motherhood. He noted that women and girls have been badly impacted by various factors, adding that it had become necessary to help them meet their aspirations. For details, check The Nation newspaper. Tinubu renews commitment to empowering girls, women and youths.
All right, the next story from this day newspaper. Nigeria's brand now sellable to global communities, says Abiodun. Ogun State Governor Dapo Abiodun has said that various policies put in place by the President Bola Tinubu-led administration aimed at putting the country on the right economic trajectory have started yielding positive results. According to him, Nigeria has now become an attractive brand that is sellable in the global community, saying it is incumbent on public relations specialists to start selling Nigeria's renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu around the world as a way of attracting more investment to boost the real sector of the economy. The governor spoke at the maiden edition of the Nigeria Public Relations Week with the theme Leveraging Public Relations as a Critical Asset for Nigeria's Economic and Reputation, held at the June 12 Cultural Center, Kuto, Abeokuta. Abiodun, who was conferred as the patron of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, also informed the practitioners of the need to help in showcasing the potential that abounds in Ogun State through their professional ingenuity. Abiodun emphasized the need for all Nigerians to be involved in promoting the good image of the country at all times. Interested in the story, you can check this day newspaper this morning. The headline there, Nigeria's brand now sellable to global community, says Abiodun.
And to politics from Daily Post newspaper, APC is the answer to Nigeria's problem, coming from Ganduje. Umar Ganduje, the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, has said that the party would provide solutions to the challenges bedeviling the country. Ganduje stated this during the APC Grand Finale campaign and the presentation of party flags to the 11 local councils' chairmanship candidates Wednesday in Gombe. The news agency of Nigeria now reports that Gombe State Independent Electoral Commission had fixed April 27 for local government polls in the state. Ganduje, who presented APC flags to the candidates, said the party under President Bola Tinubu was doing a lot to tackle the challenges of the country and get Nigeria transformed for the better. He said the Tinubu administration was creating the right environment for the country's development and economic prosperity. According to him, with the manifesto and constitution of the APC, the party has achieved a lot at the national level under President Tinubu. APC is the answer to Nigeria's problem. Ganduje, coming from Daily Post newspaper.
627 delegates elect Ondo PDP governorship candidates today. That's from Punch newspaper. All right, the Ondo chapter of the People's Democratic Party will conduct its governorship primary today, Thursday, ahead of the November 16 governorship election in the state. The party has 7 governorship aspirants who will be jostling for the vote of the 627 delegates to pick the governorship ticket. The aspirants are formerly deputy governor in the state, Agbolo Ajayi, a former secretary general of the Pan-Yoruba Socio-Political Association, Chief Olushola Ibisheni, a former member of the House of Representatives, Kolade Akinjo, a former commissioner for information, John Mafo, Adeolu Akinwumi, Bamidele Akingboye and Bosun Arebowa. Ahead of today's primary, the Ondo PDP Publicity Secretary, Mr. Kennedy Perete, explained in a statement on Wednesday that the poll would be conducted by a 7-man committee headed by the Bayelsa State Deputy Governor, Mr. Lawrence Ohojakwo. The statement reads, and I quote, the Ondo State People's Democratic Party governorship primary election scheduled for today, 25th April 2024, will be conducted by a 7-man primary election committee headed by Bayelsa State Deputy Governor, His Excellency Lawrence Ohojakwo. 7 aspirants were cleared by the Senator Sam Egu Screening Committee to participate in the primary election. The International Culture and Event Center, the Dome Akure, is the venue of the exercise. Punch newspaper has the story this morning.
And moving to Kano State, and on a very sad note from the Daily Post, newborn baby drowns in well. Tragedies are struck in Kano as a newborn baby drowned inside the well at Ruguzau in Takai local government area of the state. This is according to a statement released by the Public Relations Officer of Kano State Fire Service, Alhaji Saminu Abdullahi, on Wednesday. He said the incident occurred on Tuesday afternoon. In his words, we received an emergency call at about 2:14 p.m. from one Sambo Landan that the baby's body was found floating in the well. We immediately sent a rescue team to the scene at about 2:18. On the arrival, our men found a newborn baby in the well. According to him, the baby was brought out of the well unconscious and later confirmed dead. He said the incident is being investigated. For details, you can check the Daily Post newspaper. Kano newborn baby drowns in well.
APC PDP internal crisis worse than LP's. That's coming from Obi. The 2023 Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi said on Wednesday that the party would overcome its internal crisis and get stronger. According to him, the internal crisis in the LP pales beside the problems the ruling All Progressives Congress and the People's Democratic Party are grappling with. The LP is grappling with an ongoing attempt by the Nigerian Labour Congress to unseat its national chairman, Julius Abure and take it over. Besides, there is Lamidi Apankpa, a functional leader who is contending for power with Abure. Obi, who addressed journalists in Abuja on Wednesday, said the Labour Party would push all the issues behind it and emerge stronger. He said, "I can tell you that the issue will be solved. Let me tell you, the abnormalities you imagined in the Labour Party is a child's play when compared to what is happening in the other two parties, APC and PDP. It is far worse, but it is something that can be dealt with. We are dealing with a system. Every system has its flaws and it can be managed. Yes, things went wrong, but I can assure you we will deal with it." We have a long quote here coming from Peter Obi from Punch newspaper this morning. APC, PDP internal crisis worse than LPs.
Another one from Peter Obi from Daily Post. "I am not desperate." Peter Obi declares stance of 2027 presidential election. The Labour Party LP presidential candidate Peter Obi on Wednesday declared that he's not desperate to be president in 2027. Obi said he only wants to leave the poor and less privileged Nigerians out of difficult situation. Addressing journalists in Abuja, the former Anambra State governor lamented that some people shy away from discussing pressing issues confronting Nigeria. In his words, "We live in a system where public office holders and politicians are only seen during elections. I can tell you that it is an everyday job. I've said it several times that I'm not desperate to become the president of Nigeria, but I'm desperate to see the poor and less privileged Nigerians being pulled out of their difficult situations daily. This is what I'm desperate to see, and all of us can do it as well. You can't even be happy or fulfilled when several millions of Nigerians don't know where the next meal will come from." That is coming from Peter Obi. "I'm not desperate," Peter Obi declares stance of 2027 presidency from the Daily Post newspaper.
All right, the Nigerian Tribune asked the next story. EFCC withdraws appeal against order stopping Yahya Bello's arrest. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, has withdrawn its appeal at the Court of Appeal, Abuja, seeking to set aside the interim injunction barring it from arresting the immediate past governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello, for trial. The Anti-Graft Agency, in its notice of discountenance dated April 22, said its decision to terminate further proceedings on the appeal was based on the fact that the initial order a Kogi High Court made in favor of the former governor has been overtaken by event. The commission also admitted that the appeal it filed challenging the said interim order was filed outside the time allowed by the law. The process, which EFCC filed before the appellate court, a copy of which was cited by Newsman, reads, "The appellant herein intends to and to do hereby wholly withdraw our appeal against the respondent in the above mentioned appeal. This notice of withdrawal is predicated on the fact that on the 17th of April 2024, the application filed by the appellant herein was overtaken by the decision of the same High Court of Kogi State in the case of Alhaji Yahya Bello versus EFCC." We have a long way there. From the Nigerian Tribune this morning, EFCC withdraws appeal against order stopping Yahya Bello's arrests.
From the Vanguard newspaper, Akintoye to Afenifere, Yoruba nation wants self-determination, not restructuring. Leader of the Ilanomo Odua, Professor Banji Akintoye, has disagreed with the leaders of the Pan-Yoruba socio-political organization, Afenifere, on restructuring, saying the Yoruba nation wants self-determination and not restructuring. He said this when he was featuring on a television program yesterday. The professor of history, who repeatedly said the goal to achieve this Yoruba nation dream will surely come to pass, argued that if restructuring is implemented, the same Fulani herders who have allegedly killed more than 29,000 Yorubas will remain in Nigeria and continue their atrocities. He wondered why there was so much noise about agitation for Yoruba nation and people look away from Fulani who threaten to take over the seat of power. While acknowledging the role of Afenifere in restructuring, he noted that the only solution to the senseless killing, maiming, raping and kidnapping of Yoruba was to get out of the country. For details of this story, you can check the Vanguard newspaper. Akintoye to Afenifere, Yoruba nation wants self-determination, not restructuring.
Joining you on Vanguard newspaper, Yaya Bello, APC must publish code of conduct for party leaders. That's coming from Saliu Lukman. A former national vice chairman of the All Progressives Congress APC, Saliu Lukman, said the ruling party must publish its code of conduct for the party leaders and elected representatives. Lukman stated this in a television interview on Wednesday. He said none of the Second Republic parties will allow what is going on in the case of Yaya Bello, for instance. This is why keeping raising the point about the APC coming up with a kind of code of conduct for elected representatives and leaders of the party, because leadership is about trust. Lukman said the party has been reduced to an election platform that has produced some disasters as elected representatives because the party organs have failed to meet to discuss critical matters. He said the National Caucus was meeting almost every week before the 2015 election. He expressed concern that 8 months into the administration of the former Kano governor, Abdullahi Ganduje, as APC national chairman, the National Executive Committee (NEC) meeting of the APC has not taken place because we are faced with this reality. It presents an opportunity for the leaders of the party to really go back and renegotiate the party, because when you have a political party that doesn't meet, it's as good as not having a party. We are reduced to another platform, election platform. Interested in the story, Vanguard newspaper has it this morning. The headline there, Yaya Bello, APC must publish code of conduct for party leaders. Saliu Lukman.
And from the Daily Post, I'll take this business-related story. Why Naira depreciated against dollar? BDC operators. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON, has blamed peer-to-peer cryptocurrency platforms like Binance for the recent depreciation of the Naira against the dollar in the foreign exchange market. The national president of APCON, Aminu Guadabe, disclosed this in an interview with News Agency of Nigeria on Wednesday. He said that as long as Binance and other platforms remain profitable, the Naira's depreciation will persist. He said that the recent wave of depreciation of the Naira was of concern to the BDC operators. According to him, I'm happy that the authorities and even the BDCs as operators have identified the peer-to-peer platform. The P2P is a platform like Binance where speculators use the dollar to buy USDT, a stable coin that is pegged at $1 at $1. In his words, as long as Binance and other profitable platforms remain profitable, the Naira will continue to depreciate. You can read that story from Daily Post, while Naira depreciated against dollar, BDC operators.
The next story is from Punch newspaper. FRSC boss proposes jail terms for reckless driver. The Corps Marshal Federal Road Safety Corps, Dauda Biu, has proposed jail terms for drivers responsible for road accidents. Biu made the proposition in response to recent avoidable crashes in Oyo, Kano and Kaduna State. Reports say there were road crashes at Gaya Junction in Kano and Tashan in Kaduna, which resulted in a total of 18 fatalities of April 18 and 19, 2024. Also, there was a crash on the Oyo-Ogumosho route that claimed 19 passengers on 14th April 2024. Biu spoke at a press conference in Abuja on Wednesday, stated that the FRSC has urged all state government to prosecute drivers for violating road laws. He stressed the need for stringent penalties, including jail terms, without the option of fines to deter reckless driving. The Corps Marshal noted, "We have written to all state governors to help prosecute drivers causing road crashes. We have received a letter from the Kaduna State government of each commitment to prosecute. these drivers, we hope that other states will follow suit in directing their commissioners of justice or police so that drivers who indulge or violate road rules are prosecuted. Punch newspaper as the story, FRSC boss proposes jail terms for reckless drivers.
Daily Post newspaper, medical equipment worth millions of naira destroyed as fire wreaks havoc in Edo. Fire outbreak has again wreaked havoc in Edo State as property, mostly medical equipment, were destroyed in an inferno that gutted shops in Benin, Edo State. Daily Post reports that the fire outbreak happened less than 36 hours after that gutted a section of Ekiosa market where about 20 shops were affected, resulting in the loss of property estimated to be worth 1 billion naira. It was gathered that the fire started at a shop dealing in hospital and laboratory equipment by 2 p.m. and later spread to other shops within the building. It was also gathered that all 4 shops directly opposite the University of Benin Teaching Hospital were completely razed in the inferno. For details of these, you can check Daily Post newspaper, medical equipment worth millions of naira destroyed as fire wreaks havoc in Edo.
German police arrest 11 Nigerians over dating scam. That's from Vanguard newspaper this morning. German police yesterday, they had arrested 11 suspected members of a Nigerian mafia group behind a large-scale dating scam. The alleged Black Axe gang was involved internationally in multiple areas of criminal activity with a focus in Germany on dating scams and money laundering. Bavarian police said in a statement. The dating trick was a modern form of marriage fraud, police said. Using false identities, the fraudsters, for example, signaled their intention to marry and in the course of further contact repeatedly demand money under various pretexts, police said. The money was subsequently transferred to Black Axe in Nigeria via financial agent, authorities said. In the process, the gang used a commodity-based money laundering scheme where products, often with a seeming charitable purpose, were bought and delivered to Nigeria. Some 450 cases of romance scamming had been reported in the region of Bavarian in 2023 alone, with the damages rising to 5.3 million euros. Police also said the suspects, who all held Nigerian citizenship and were aged between 29 and 53, were arrested in nationwide raids on Tuesday. Interested in the story because we have a longer there. It's from Vanguard newspaper this morning with the headline, German police arrest 11 Nigerians over dating scam. All right, with our story, we draw the curtain on the first segment of Issues in the Dailies. When we are back, it will be time to talk to our analyst. Please stay with us.
It's good to know you're still with us on Glow 99.1 FM. Issues in the Dailies is a program, and this is the second segment of the program where we talk to our analyst and it gives insight on some of the stories we have released today. And on the phone, we have a public affairs analyst, Elder Ayo Arugundade, to shed light on some of these stories. Elder Arugundade, thanks so much for...
Thanks for having me.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
All right, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. Let's begin with the statement credited to the Ogun State Governor on this day newspaper this morning, where he stated that Nigeria's brand now sellable to global community. Do you agree, sir?
Nigerian brand sellable to
now sellable to global community.
to global community, you have to be very specific about the brand. There are so many things that are happening in this country that are not yet sellable to global community. I mean, I don't know what Nigeria is producing that is sellable to global community. I don't know the services that is sellable to global community. I don't know the orientation that we are having in this country that is sellable to global community. Are we talking of the corruption that is very endemic and pandemic in this country that we want to sell to the global community? Are we talking of the epileptic power supply that we want to sell to the global community? As we are talking now, there are queues in petrol stations in some part of this country, especially in Ekiti. Is that the one that will be sellable to global community? Are we talking of the epileptic educational system where universities will be on almost perennial strike that is sellable to global community? Are we talking about political system, electoral system that want to be sellable to global community? Definitely, it's not yet Uhuru. It is not yet Uhuru. So I think the Ogun State governor is just making a political statement. Don't forget the Ogun State governor is a politician and is making a political statement. And not just a politician, is a member of APC, the ruling party in this country. It is expected of him to say that. But Nigerian people know themselves that Nigerian brand is not sellable to global community as we are talking. If it is sellable to global community, why do we have the Japa syndrome? Why do we have the Japa syndrome? It will have been the reverse, will have been the case. I remember when I was younger, people from America, people from Canada, people from UK will leave their country and come and school in University of Ibadan, where I school many years ago. That was when Nigeria can be sellable to global community. But as we are talking now, you can correct. I start to be corrected. I don't think there's anything in this country, as we are speaking, that is sellable to global community. Are we talking of? Look at Rwanda, they are African country. Rwanda, they are celebrating 30 years of the end of the genocide, where they put an end to tribalism and ethnic chauvinism. In those days, with the area of the Hutu and the Tutsis in Rwanda. But today, it has come to an end. But today, we are still talking of tribalism in this country. We are still talking of ethnicity in this country. We are still talking of religious bigotry in this country. We are still talking of insecurity in this country. Do you want to sell banditry, terrorism, kidnapping to the global community? I mean, it is not yet Uhuru. Okay. As far as I'm concerned, nothing yet to sell to global, even in the religious sector. Instead of our religion to bring moral development to this country, Nigerians are even more religious. Nigerians are more religious than following the dictates of the religion. Religion have been the opium of the people, used to manipulate the people.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Saidar Ogunlade. Still talking about national development, there's been this debate between a section of this country, the Yoruba section, particularly between the Afenifere and the agitators for the Yoruba nation. So a few days ago, some people wrote President Bola Tinubu asking him to permit the Yoruba nation to go their way. And the Afenifere rose up to this, saying that they are not in support of that. They would prefer restructuring. The news today is Professor Banji Akintoye telling Afenifere that what the Yoruba nation wants is to go their way and not restructuring. What is your take on this?
My take on it is that what Professor Banji Akintoye was requesting from Alhaji Bola Tinubu is not possible. It is not possible. The Yoruba cannot separate from the geographical entity called Nigeria now, because President Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot even grant that kind of a thing. Because how can you be a president of this country, strategically speaking, logistically speaking, and politically speaking? It is not possible for the president of the nation to allow a section of his country to be separated in this country called Nigeria. So President Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot even grant that kind of request. He will not succumb to that request. That request cannot be granted. No nation can do that easily. That is not the problem of this country now. Because if Yoruba as an entity in this country should be separated, that is not the solution to the problem. Because even within the Yoruba entity now, there are also some nationals. Within the Yoruba entity, we have the Ekitis, we have the Owas, we have the Ondos, we have the Ikales, we have the Ijebus, we have the Edas, we have the Oyos, we have the Ibolos, we have the Okuns in the Kogi State, we have the Gobinos. Even within Ekiti, there are some nationals in Ekiti. So you will find out that even there we always continue to be inter-ethnic problem. The only solution to the problem is to restructure as demanded by the Afenifere of Fashion-Roti, to restructure the entity in which they can make the states powerful and they can make the central less powerful. They can restructure in a way to create a situation where we have a state policing for the security of this nation. We can restructure in a way where states will control their own resources. Even the Niger Delta people say they want resource control. So there is no nation, there is no subnational in this country called Nigeria that doesn't have one grievances or the other. So if you continue to grant separation, then there will not be Nigeria again, and that is not possible. And no president will listen to that kind of thing, because the Igbos also have their own complaints, the Hausa Fulani also have their own complaints, the Kanuris also have their own complaints, the Middle Belt people, the Chibi, the Idomas, they have their own complaints too. So if each ethnic region should say they want to separate, then there will be no Nigeria again, and no nation, no president of a nation will grant that. So I see that demand of Professor Banji Akintoye as too extremist, whereas I see a moderate demand through the National Assembly that they can sponsor a bill to amend the Nigerian Constitution to make it a situation where we can even return back to the era of parliamentary system of government. The cost of governance in a presidential democracy is too high. So we can go back to parliamentary system of government. We can make the region stronger, all the states stronger. We can have state police. The state can control their own resources, like the mineral resources. In this Southwest, we have a lot of solid mineral resources in this country. We have the bitumen in Ondo area of the Southwest. We have so many farm produce here. And even in education, there's nothing bad in the state controlling education. I don't see what federal government is doing with education. Maybe there can be restructuring along that line. And it can be stated in that restructuring that it will take effect from 2027, when the tenure of office of the present administration must have expired. So these are the areas, the constitutional way that it can be done. But for a group of individuals to say they want to separate entirely, I don't think it is possible. And two persons or some group of individuals cannot take unilateral decision on behalf of millions of people of Yoruba ethnic region. You know, there have to be referendum too. You cannot just do that without referendum. They want to the level of interest of the people to really know the advantages or the disadvantages in such a request. Because you have to explain to people, you have to orientate the people. I, as a person, I will not support the agitation of the likes of Professor Banji Akintoye for a complete separation. However, I would like to support an idea of constitutional amendment to really amend some loopholes, some lacuna in our present constitution to move the country forward.
All right.
And part of it
thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
All right, thank you, Eda Ogundade. I want us to talk about the EFCC now. We've seen them, go after some former political office holders lately, and also they also recovered 14 assets in Enugu State. Now, governors have been hailing the steps being taken by the EFCC, but to Nigerians, they are now asking questions, and the question is, where are those monies? What are they are being spent on? How much have they, recovered so far? And also those assets. What is being done in to the assets they've recovered so far? Are they auctioning those houses or assets? And the monies they've collected so far, where is the money? So what do you say to that, sir?
Well, I want us to start with the fact that the effort of EFCC is commendable. But I want EFCC to move further and provide what I can call a watertight investigation and a very robust prosecution in the court of law. Let them get the services of brilliant senior advocate of Nigeria so that they will not be losing cases on technical grounds. And I want to appeal to the judiciary too to de-emphasize technicalities in the administration of justice and to be looking to the merit of cases. That is one. Then on the question of the fact that all these assets that have been gotten from these politically exposed, alleged corrupt politicians and all the money involved, the federal government should also be transparent enough so that Nigeria can see the benefit of the seized item, because all these items, all this property, all this money belong to Nigerian people. It is the it is our commonwealth. It belongs to all of us in this country, and those money should be channeled to proper use. There should be a committee again, and that committee should be transparent, and it should be printed out or made information made available on the pages of newspaper, online, and through mass media and through relevant organization. How much that have been gotten back? How many property that have been retrieved? Where are these property? Where are this money? It should be made open. They should be transparent, so that it is not a question of what Yoruba people will call it olegba. I don't know whether you know the meaning of olegba. The meaning of that, you got it from the chief and another thief has stolen it. That one will not be good enough. Till today, we don't really know what has happened to Abacha loot. So what we are saying in essence, what I am saying in essence, is that this money, the accounts should be made known. There should be forensic auditing, that what has been gotten is being kept somewhere, and not just being kept somewhere. It should be used for the benefit of Nigerian people. We can use some of them to make sure that the refineries work, so that the prices of fuel will come down. The Nigerian people are interested in making use of the looted fund to better the lot of Nigerian people. We can challenge it toward the electricity problem. They are increasing the tariff of electricity. Why can't we use it to improve the electricity? Why can't we use it to make sure that one or two refineries, they work properly? Why can't we make use of it for the education sector of this country? Why can't we make use of it to make sure that our hospitals, they work? Why can't we make sure that our universities work, so that lecturers will not be on strike and the school fees of students will be at the lower side? We don't want a situation where they are making use of that money to make it look as if olegba. You know, a situation where pension fund that is meant for the retired people are also being stolen. It is not a good development. It is a bad development. And that was why I was saying, what brand are we even selling to the outside world? We are not selling anything good. No outside world will buy anything from us. When we say buy anything from us, it is not only goods and services. It's not only product. Even if we are talking of goods and services, what are we really producing in this country? What are we? No, that is why our exchange rate is not good enough. That is why, even despite the fact they said Naira is appreciating, that is not the best thing. I could remember when I was younger, Naira was even more valuable than dollar. Remember when I was younger, Naira was even more valuable than pound sterling. But look at today, we are celebrating 1,000 Naira to a dollar. It doesn't worth celebration. It is because Nigeria is more of a consuming nation than a producing nation. So let us make sure that those looted funds is channeled back to make sure that Nigeria become a producing nation, so that our currency will have more value than what we are in.
Thank you so much, Edda Arugundade. I want to take you to education now. This is a story that will be of great interest and concern to many parents. The federal government has come to say that the age limit for entry into universities will be 18 years. And some have come also, like the ASU chairman and the chairman of the Parents Teachers Association, have come to support that notion. A lot of parents would have to ask a lot of questions as regards this. If you have a child presently that's going to graduate at around 14 and 15, and you are saying that child will have to wait till 18 to enter the university or to write WAEC or write JAMB, then what will happen in between? Wouldn't that create another set of problems? What's your take on this?
It will not create any problem. Let me tell you, I am in full support of the federal government policy. And I am in full support of what ASU has said in supporting the federal government. Because you will see now that education does not require only the academic aspect of it. When I was in University of Ibadan, they said a graduate has graduated both in learning and in character. Both in learning and in character. Let me put the character part of it. The character part of it requires a lot of knowledge, a lot of maturity. You must have what I can call native intelligence. and I can call maturity. And you can get more mature with age. Although there are some exceptions where some older people are not matured, but generally speaking, majority wise, the older you are, the better for you. The older you are, the much mature you are. The older you are, the more you can take care of yourself. The older you are, the more independent you are. When you get to the university, you need a lot of maturity. Then you ask me the question that what happens for some children that are graduating from the school, from the secondary school at the age of 14, 15, yes. there are gaps there. That child can be sent to school of basic studies to do advanced level. My friend that is talking, when I finished from my secondary school, I went to do advanced studies. I went to do A level. We call it HSC. I did it at Oyemekun Grammar School, Akure there. So there is no big deal about it. When you finish at 14, you can go and do advanced studies. By the time you do 2 years of basic study, you are ready for 15, 16, 17. You can go and do, for those people who want to study education, let them go to College of Education. In those days, we have Adeyemi College of Education. Those who want to do nursing can go to School of Nursing or School of Health Technology. That will make them more grounded. And by the time they finish from those schools, they will go to the university. Those who want to study Agric can go to School of Agric. There is College of Agric in Akure there. I am not advertising. Those are the areas that can feed that loopholes. And those that are already 17 or 18 when they finish their schools, they can take JAMB and enter universities. These are the areas they can solve those problems. Or they go to School of Basic Studies. In those days, there was one in Okearo area of Akure there. So when you look at all those things, there is need for a student to reach a reasonably advanced age. By the time you are 18 and you enter university, add 4 years plus 18, that's 22 years. That's still okay. And this is a 5-year course, 23 years.
Or 7 years course.
2 years course, 24 years.
Yeah.
My brother and my sister, let me take you back to some 3 major professions. How can a 17-year-old graduate of medicine, a medical student who graduates at 14 and who graduates at 17 or 18 as a medical doctor in the university, in an hospital, it doesn't require you go to some hospital where when you want to suicide, you see some doctor looking at their laptop. I mean, that is not good enough. When compared with some experienced nurse, you see some experienced nurses, they even perform better because of experience. So it requires a lot of maturity in medicine, a course like medical science. Like medical science, they take an example of a teacher. A teacher should also be matured in age. How can how can you be having baby teachers? Teachers that their ages are even almost the same as with the pupils. Or we are having too much of baby lawyers who will not even know the nitty-gritty of local intelligence in the interests of the people, or even in the medical line. So we require a lot of maturity. So I am in total support of the government. The parents should not be in a hurry. They should not rush things over. Even there are, psychologically speaking, there is need for children to stay with their parents for some couple of years. You find out that some children, they don't stay with their parents more than 2 years. And that is why we are having moral decadence in this country. That is why when these children get to the university, they are easily manipulated because they don't get the proper orientation at home. They don't stay too long at home before they enter university. So I am in total support of the federal government of Nigeria in that respect.
All right. Thank you so much, Elder Arugundade, for your time this morning. We appreciate you.
It is a pleasure having you, having me.
Do have a nice day.
It's a pleasure.
All right, dear listener, we just spoke to our analyst there in person of Elder Ayo Arugundade, who just give insight to some of the headlines we're taking it there. You can now call in to react to any of the stories this morning. 0805 551 1110 or 0705 551 1116. Those are the lines to call to be part of the conversation this morning. You can also drop a message for us on our WhatsApp line as well. 0805 551 1110 or 0705 551 1116. Hello, good morning. Good morning.
I'm Theophilus calling from Akure.
All right, Theophilus from Akure. Let's have your comment.
Okay. You see, when people are fighting for self-agitation, is when things are not going well in the country. So I know how the cost of living now for the country is very high. So for these people to be fighting for Yoruba nation, that they are agitating for Yoruba is highly appreciated in some ways for me. So that even in eastern part of the country where IPOB of the people are still fighting for their own freedom, it's not because they think they are being marginalized and all that. So for me, seeking for agitation for another country is not a mistake for those that are doing that. Good morning.
All right, good morning. Have a nice day. 080.
Hello, good morning. Okay.
Good morning.
Hello, what's your name?
My name is Ayobami
Okay, go ahead, please.
from Akure.
Okay.
I really appreciate your program.
Thank you.
And I thank federal government about the students about 2 years before getting to a higher institution. Because education even needs a maturity. Hello?
Yeah,
Yes,
listening
you're
to you.
on.
So education even needs a maturity. And when we see what happened in the higher institution now, all the lecturers are complaining that some of the students, they don't mature enough to take care of the situation. So I really appreciate the idea of federal government
All right.
for a child to course in 10 years before getting to higher institution. So I think it will help their education. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you for calling. One more call before we say goodbye. This morning on Issues in the Daily, 0805 551 1110 or 0705 551 1116. Okay, to some sports headlines here. From Punch Cricket, Nigeria wins the ICC award and Eaglets held in pre-Wafu friendly. Still from Punch, top seeds battle for podium at national table tennis tourney.
Hello, good morning.
I think we lost that call.
Okay,
Yes,
from Vanguard,
stories.
some sports stories from Vanguard. EPL, Liverpool's title bid rocked by 2-0 defeat at Everton. And still from Vanguard, Chelsea's bad day are so bad. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you. Your name and your location.
My name is Wale Nobu from Jare.
All right.
I want to talk about some people talking about in Yoruba leaving the country.
Okay.
I want to say this is, if you want to follow constitution, this is treason. Want to create country within the country, and which is very bad. If Nigerians, if Yoruba should leave, and I'm very sure the Igbos will be agitated to leave too, and I think there will be nothing like Nigeria again. So we can make it when we are one, when there is peace, when we see ourselves as one. So I think the federal government should not take anything like that.
All right.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for calling. And that will be all on this edition of Issues in the Dailies on Glow 99.1 FM. It returns tomorrow by God's grace. Ayola Fatukwu is my name. Good morning and keep listening to Glow 99.1 FM.
Thank you so much for staying with us. My name is Femi Emmanuel. Have a wonderful day.